There's a lot of things that entrepreneurs try to do to stand out from their competition, and I get it. We all want to be unique and we want to have our own special sauce, but sometimes standing out isn't actually the best thing to do. Sometimes being different just for the sake of being different can cause us to miss what really makes our business successful. This idea was reinforced for me recently when I heard this phrase for the first time: don't be cute. I heard it from somebody who's run a very large company for a long time. Now, the context wasn't about cuteness, but how some founders try to get cute with their business model, trying to do something that has never been done before. They try to take a completely new approach to solving a problem, and while that might seem exciting, trying to reinvent the wheel can actually prevent you from getting anywhere at all. It can take you down a path where you end up spending a ton of money and a ton of time building something that nobody wants. So today I want to talk about what it means to not be cute in your business. Let's start off with a real example. Backyard football. Who doesn't love backyard football? Growing up, this was my favorite thing to do with my brothers and my friends. My dad got us a full-size football when I was 8 years old, and pretty much every day after school you could find us out in the backyard throwing the ball around. Now, we didn't need any fancy equipment to play our game. All we needed was a ball and a big open space. Life was simple then. But what if you wanted to turn backyard football into a business? You would probably start by asking yourself, what problem am I solving? Well, people love football and they love playing it with their friends and family. So maybe you decide to create a product that will help more people play backyard football. Great. You think I've solved a major pain point. People now don't have to run around their entire yard to throw a pass. They can just set up my portable goal in their backyard and start playing right away. Problem solved, right? Well, you might have a great product, but there's one thing you haven't thought about yet: conversion optimization. Think about it. You might have seen those TV commercials for products that promise you they're going to change your life. You know, the ones where they show you this amazing gadget that can somehow make you healthier and happier just by having it in your house. The problem is, when you get the product home, you realize it's nowhere near as useful as it seemed on TV. You feel tricked and you ask yourself, why did I buy this thing? Well, when you're building a business, the same thing can happen. You can end up with a product that people buy and then regret it because it does unsolve their problems nearly as well as they thought it would. A good example of this is software. Sometimes software can look super cool, but it ends up being too complicated to use and most people quit using it. So when you're thinking about building a business, it's important to make sure you're optimizing for conversion. How easy is your product to use? Does it actually solve a real problem? And are you the cheapest provider of that solution? Because if you're not, then someone else already is. Now let's go back to our backyard football example. Imagine you saw all of these issues coming. So you decided to do something a little bit different. Instead of building a brand new product, you decide to try and improve upon existing products on the market. Maybe you keep the same concept of a portable football goal, but you add features that customers have been asking for that other brands haven't added yet. Or maybe you decide to focus on making your product cheaper than the competitors, while still maintaining the same level of quality. This is an example of something that isn't cute. This is taking something that already exists and making it better. This is what we call replication, and it's the main way that most businesses grow. When I say replication, I don't mean copy, I mean evolve. You take something that already exists and you make it slightly better. In fact, I would even argue that if you're really not trying to improve upon a concept or an idea or a product, then you're doing it wrong. One of the biggest advantages you have as a startup is that you're really not married to the past. You don't have to worry about defending decisions that were made 5 or 10 years ago. You can look at what's already out there, see what people like and don't like about it, and then use that knowledge to build something new. Now, there's another reason why focusing on the fundamentals is important. Have you ever heard of the term above the fold? It's a term used in marketing that refers to the top part of a web page, the section that's visible without scrolling. It's called above the fold because in newspapers, the most important stories are always printed above the fold, right at the top. So if you want to get someone's attention, you put it above the fold. Well, on the internet, it's no different. Most websites are optimized to get the user to take action right away. The call to action button is above the fold. The value proposition is above the fold. Everything that's above the fold is there for one reason: to get the user to take action. And it's the same thing with business. As entrepreneurs, we have to get people to take action. We have to convince them to sign up for our product or service or buy our stuff. And the easiest way to do that is to focus on the fundamentals. Because if we focus on the fundamentals, we're increasing the likelihood that we'll get the user to take action. Think about it. If you're a new founder, you probably don't have a lot of money. You don't have a huge marketing budget. You're not going to be able to afford billboards or TV ads or radio spots. You're not going to be able to hire celebrities to promote your product. So if you want to get the word out about your business, if you want to get people excited about your product, you need to focus on the fundamentals. You need to make sure that your website is easy to use. You need to make sure that your value proposition is crystal clear. You need to make sure that your sales process is streamlined and efficient. Because if you focus on the fundamentals, you're increasing the likelihood that people will take action. If you're constantly trying to reinvent the wheel, trying to come up with something that's never been done before, you're wasting time and resources that you could be spending on the fundamentals, because the truth is, there's nothing new under the sun. Every business that has ever been started has already solved most of the problems that you're going to face. So instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, spend your time fixing the spokes. And if you're not sure how to fix the spokes, then learn from somebody who knows how. There's an old saying that I love: if I had an hour to solve a problem, I would spend 59 minutes figuring out how to ask the right questions. This is so true. Some of the smartest people I know are great listeners, and they ask really good questions. They ask questions to clarify assumptions, to understand perspectives, and to uncover hidden information. And if you want to be a great entrepreneur, you should do the same thing. Don't be afraid to reach out to people who have solved the problems you're facing. Ask them questions. Learn from their experience. Because the truth is, they were once in your shoes and they know what it's like. Here's the bottom line. Trying to be cute or trying to do something that has never been done before is a waste of time. It takes you away from the fundamentals, and the fundamentals are what really matter. Now, if you're a first-time entrepreneur, it can be hard to know what the fundamentals are. You might be tempted to get cute, to try to do something that's never been done before. But if you want to be successful, if you want to build a business that lasts, you need to focus on the basics. You need to make sure your product or service is easy to use. You need to make sure your pricing is competitive. You need to make sure your sales process is streamlined, because if you focus on the fundamentals, you'll be able to get your business off the ground. And then once you're up and running, then you can start experimenting. Then you can start getting cute, but only after you've built a solid foundation. So if you're feeling cute, if you're tempted to try something that's never been done before, just remember this: don't be cute. It's a phrase that's helped me stay focused on what really matters, and I hope it helps you too. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.